for a job in outer space just to garden?
Will you put those away, Diane?
Oh, Delta Shift's the worst.
Enter, friend!
We really need to do something about this bold Boimler thing. It is not sustainable.
Feeling your stress slide away into the sand?
Oh, yeah. We're really cooking.
Oh, nice. Wait a minute. Is that a design schematic?
Yep, this little honey will improve the Cerritos engine efficiency by 0.5%.
No. You are here to relax. Like,
Yeah, don't you respect Captain Freeman? Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 4, Room for Growth has released. It's out there in the streaming world. But we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast as we're delving into our review of this episode. I'm Dave Mader. I'm joined with Davan Skelhorn and Chris Murphy here on streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. We got Sam in the comments and in the audience.
You're joined by who? Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just get your clever name on screen there.
Yeah, exactly.
Anti-grav Dav, which I'm sure was a reference to Boimler.
I'm not Boimler. I'm Anti-Grav Boy, protector of the lower decks.
But does not Anti-Grav Dav sound a lot better than Anti-Grav Boys?
Well, yeah, you have the rhyming scheme.
I sure do.
Yeah,
and I can defy gravity at will. So
well, that's handy. Is that a family trait that I'm unaware of? Davan?
Well, yeah, not on your side, not your side.
No, that's from your dad's side. Okay, I got you.
Side.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Good, fellas. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm good, and it was good for Lower Decks. And it's Thursday. I got double duty as I'll be on for the eviction later on tonight with Big Brother on Super Mader Brothers podcasting.
Tiffany's very excited about that.
Well, and I'm excited with her, but back on to and we got Jeremy in the comments. All right,
what's up, Jeremy?
He's back.
Back in black.
Guys, we're talking about the episode Room for Growth. And Davan, did you feel like there was room for growth and improvement here, or did you really like this?
Well, look, I love every episode of Lower Decks. Let me make that clear. But this one I felt like lacked somewhat of a plot. Now, what I will say, it made up for it a bit in like the gags and the references that are sort of also gags that this show does were super on point. I got a lot to talk about on their like deep cuts and stuff in this episode, which I really liked. But like I feel like as far as this season goes, it was the least plotty episode of them all. What was the plot of this one really? The
plot of this one, so there's kind of two plots really. One is that Captain Freeman and the engineering staff have to go take a mandatory vacation because
that's not a plot. Here's my problem. This episode is two B plots. This episode, like Lower Decks, is usually straight up TNG A plot, B plot. This is two B plots.
This is like two B plots. This is almost a Deep Space Nine episode, like mid season 3. Chris, where are you standing on this one?
Slander.
I'm always down for shots at DS9. Honestly, I thought it was honestly fucking hilarious. I haven't laughed this hard at a Lower Decks episode ever. I really liked this episode a lot. Dude, I kind of wish I recorded. I wish I was recording my reaction. Like I was debating of streaming my reaction live or not. I kind of wish I did now because I guffawed at some of the jokes. I will say good ones
I'll meet you there in one.
You'll remember
one scene that made me smile ear to ear, and my smile wouldn't go away until that scene was over.
Yeah, let's talk about the episode. And I walked through it. I got about 500 screenshots. This guy could replicate a bigger towel, for the record, but part of the feature here in this episode is that it's very crammed in the Lower Decks. There's too many crew, and it's it's close quarters.
Yeah, I thought there was some sort of thing going on. I'm like, oh, I guess they've got some sort of crisis going on where they have a bunch of extra personnel on the ship. What's happening? And then it just like rolls right through that setup and goes into something different.
Yeah, DS9 rolls. Yeah, it was more just like this is just kind of like maybe when the ships are crossing over or something that it's a little bit more crowded. But they're all kind of doing their things. You got Boimler playing guitar, Tendy's doing her little science project, and Rutherford, of course, is always working on an engineering problem.
Is that a guitar or a violin? I think it's a violin.
It's a violin, or as we call it in Nova Scotia, a fiddle.
A fiddle. Yeah. He's just tuning it up here. And then Captain Freeman shows up. And I couldn't help but think of you, Davan, when all this was happening early in the episode, where it's just like this is a homage to the episode Masks from Next Generation, where
it's also like she's wearing Charles Xavier's mask.
Is it Charles?
A little bit, yeah. It does look a little like Cerebro, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did she say here?
Oh boy, we got an ancient mask situation here. Stop touching masks!
She's inherited by the spirit of Manduki.
Yeah, Maduki.
I thought it was Maduki, yeah.
Yes, Maduki.
Maduki? Okay, I wasn't quite sure on the pronunciation. Yeah, and so it's coming through, transforming the ship into some kind of ancient civilization.
Definitely a masks, like you're right. Like
it's completely masks.
The first of
the episode masks
in this episode.
Yeah, and just how the ship's being transformed by bit. And that this happens not just on the Enterprise D. This happens all across Starfleet all the time. This is not necessarily that uncommon to happen. His violin or fiddle gets turned into a statue and then falls and breaks. And so that's the opening for the episode. But that only kind of
tuned.
Yeah, he just tuned it. Well, yeah, and when we come back on the episode, it's Captain Freeman's log here, where she kind of explains that
once again the Cerritos was partially transformed into a temple, while I was inhabited by the spirit of Manuki. Starfleet has to come up with a better way to handle these Darcy archive situations.
Manuki.
But we also see that it's left up to these engineers to kind of clean up this mess that's been left where the ship's transformed. This is the part that Star Trek doesn't always get into at all. Is that like the cleanup might be quite the ordeal afterwards, and that's always yada yada because it's kind of boring, of course, but that the engineers in this kind of a situation might be really overworked in the situation more than normal, as they're kind of trying to not have a temple, and more into a thing. And Billups is really, in particular, having a rough time here to start off the episode. Saying that the doctor thinks, what does Freeman say about him?
Her medical opinion is that you are a fucking pile of stress.
A fucking pile of stress.
That was the first laugh for me. Like the way she dropped the F-bomb, I'm like, okay, that was great. And then it got me thinking, have there been other F-bombs dropped in Star Trek at all?
In Lower Decks, for sure.
Just once by Tilly.
Yeah, once there was one,
Tilly.
and repeated by Stamets.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But he says, I don't come and tell you how to do your job.
And that Admiral tells Picard he's all fucking hubris.
Pure fucking hubris. Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's more in the modern era. You've seen it.
So
more.
New Star Trek just has more fucks in it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry didn't swear, apparently.
Shaq says it's okay to admit, guys. It's okay to not be okay.
You can admit when you need a break. It's not a sign of weakness.
He's not weak though. Don't worry.
I'm not weak.
I'm not weak. I don't come to tell her how to do things. Billups says.
The doc just needs to stay in her lane because I don't go down to her sick bay and tell her how to hypo her sprays.
Hypo her sprays. And then he's just crying here on Shax, and Shax is, there.
I think we all know who's
get it all out.
Sprays, though.
He even does like this. He even does this slap across Shax's face, and Shax's like, whatever. Cat watch here on Live Long and
Tell him he's a
Podcast.
good cat and a pretty.
He's a good cat and a pretty cat.
Okay.
The prettiest
You can go
kitties.
now.
Yes. Anyway, so she's like, I know what to do, guys. I'm going to take the entire engineering staff on vacation. And they're like, woo.
I mean, you guys ready for mandatory vacation?
Yeah, who's ready for a mandatory vacation with
That's
your
funny,
boss?
though, like Cerritos is supposed to be like the worst ship in the fleet, but they're all workaholics, so it's very strange.
I always thought it interesting that specifically the engineering staff are the most hardest working in Starfleet, which was I don't think it's untrue. And
Geordie LaForges.
They're all Geordie LaForges. Like Freeman was. I definitely have that for later on in the episode. Where is she? Freeman.
Feeling your stress slide away into the center.
Oh, here it is.
You engineered a workaround to your own stress meter?
Yeah. Anyway, so they're cleaning up here, but so Rutherford's part of this mandatory vacation, so he's splitting off. So in these first 4 episodes, one of the 4 has kind of been in their own storyline, and the other 3 have been kind of doing something else, and that kind of continues here for this episode. They're still cleaning up here.
One could argue that the whole like engineer thing is the A storyline.
You could argue,
yeah, because like they're going on relaxation from the events that began in the first scene with the captain wearing the mask.
It's the A storyline, but it doesn't feature Rutherford a ton. It's kind of like almost a Freeman storyline in some ways. You know, but you know, so he's splitting off here. They're talking about the room lottery. There's a new room, like a quarters up for grabs. They're going to join the lottery, and so and Rutherford's worried about missing out. But the group says that they're going to take care of it. They'll enter him for him while he's away. Also, guys, I mentioned this in my chat this morning. Written by John Cochran, the winner of Survivor Karamoan. And a couple, I know, not necessarily Survivor guys, but he did write this episode. He also created Badgie, and he's written like an episode in each season.
Badgie was the worst episode of this entire
season 1. Yeah, I know, I agree. And luckily,
didn't the Survivor guy like recently win an Emmy or something?
Which Survivor guy?
There's a lot of Survivor guys.
I don't know.
Jeff Probst?
I remember seeing a clip. No, I don't think so. I think it had to do with somebody that was actually a contestant, and he like won an Emmy for writing or something.
Maybe it was John Cochran, or maybe it was David Wright, who's the other Survivor contestant who's on this writing staff. But he didn't win. So anyway, move it. Yeah, and directed by Jason Zurich. This episode. Anyway, so yeah, they're gonna handle the thing, and then her science experiment or whatever here, like her flubber, gets out of the beaker here and crawls into the Jeffries tube that she has to chase after it. And she manages to get it back, but while she's in the vent, we see Delta Shift guys. They are the worst.
Okay.
Delta Shift's the worst.
Here's my first super deep cut smile from this episode. What's the significance of Delta Shift, Dave?
Like Delta Quadrant?
No.
Jellicoe.
Yeah, Jellicoe loves a 4-shift rotation. See, we wouldn't have a Delta Shift on Picard's Enterprise.
No, yeah, Riker preferred a 3-shift rotation on his ship.
He certainly did.
But Jellicoe wanted a 4-shift rotation.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What's going on with Delta Shift, Riker?" And he goes, "There is no Delta Shift, sir."
So Freeman is more of like from the Jellicoe school.
Yeah,
captaining.
Right. Freeman and well, I guess it'd also be what's his name, Ransom. Also, the first officer would also have a hand in that as well. Decision making, but yeah. So they're all plotting to hack this lottery for the new room. I definitely do have a clip here of them being all evil and such. Where are you guys?
Deck 1, here we come! Whoop, 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 whoop.
Whatever Delta Shift, you shouldn't even exist.
Mean Delta Shift way they do. Delta Shift's the worst.
Yeah, they all laugh at that mean. They all laugh at that mean Delta Shift way.
Yeah,
so they're like, no, we're gonna do something about this. We're gonna beat them. So they cook up this plan here to go on the run here. Meanwhile, the Cerritos warps in here, and they I guess the Dove is actually a ship. So like the spa, like the vacation ship is what this is. It's not a planet that they're going to. Davan, are those some Andorian? Is that an Andorian ship in like the background here? Like
the one on the left?
No, this one right here. The one like, you know.
One. Yeah, that looks like an Andorian ship, and it looks like an Olympic class up in the top right. Oh, that's definitely an Andorian ship. Nice.
That's an Andorian ship, right? And that looks
that's an Olympic class,
but with purple lighting on it.
Well,
and then this ship, I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is. I've never seen
yeah,
anything like
some
that.
interesting looks here. Anyway, the like Dove. Anyway, they beam in with these fried up engineers. Captain Freeman, though, very excited. What's this species name, Davan? I knew you would know.
That's Adosians.
Those are the Adosians.
Yeah.
The spa leader here. She's like, welcomes to the ship. Gonna help them with all their relaxation. Gives them these wristbands, which tell you your stress level, right? So yellow means moderate level of stress. Red most.
Now, speaking of the Adosians, Lower Decks did give us the coolest Adosian ever, which was that like super creepy The Farm pilot or whatever, where he was taking them to the farm and he talked all creepy to give them all like existential dread. But then he was really just taking them to a nice
like another Adosian.
Yeah, he was an Adosian.
Yeah, we see here that she's the Adosian administrator. She's taking them through the Doves, places in this Andorian spot. At first, I thought like,
Why does she hate the kittens?
Are the puppies like going to kill her?
Yeah.
I thought that there was going to be something more nefarious at work here initially, because it seemed
I
like
was expecting just like puppy murder there.
Yeah, but it turned out not to be.
You know what I think the joke is there? Like the Andorian's not human. A human would know what puppies are, but this Andorian just thinks these small creatures are trying to kill her.
Maybe that's yeah, could be. Also, we see the mud baths, which there's an episode of Next Generation where they go into like the Tellarite mud baths or whatever.
Luoxana is in there with like
Alexander. Yeah, right. So that gets featured. This Klingon guy who's here, who's like doing his like target practice, and they're like, we're afraid to like ask him to leave, so we're just letting him do his thing.
He's over his time. We're afraid to let him know.
We're afraid to let him know. Anyway, and then the engineers, they're back here fixing the door. Like, I just thought this was a good gag. They're like, it's broken.
Sliding Mylar was slow. We fixed the door.
Yeah.
It's just Rutherford just like tiredly like, we fixed the door.
We fixed the door. You're fixing everything, And so anyway, back over to the other plot. Boimler has this plan on where they're going to go to get into the computer and do their little cheat thing here. Interesting schematic, right? Was you see like that engineering section actually raised above the nacelles because it would normally be covered here in like a side profile, right? Because it's on the same level as the nacelles, but they raise it up here. Anyway, they got their plan in motion here, but then they end up here on the holodeck, and they're like, "Well, whatever. We have to sneak through Tiana's holodeck program," and this is definitely like one of my favorite parts.
This is the scene that I smiled the entire time from ear to ear. I couldn't help it. It was so enjoyable.
It was so.
I love the relationship between Tiana and Shax. I love that this is what they do. I love the nods. I just love this scene.
Yeah, so they end up in this monochrome holodeck program. Great. I think we're in a
bank.
I'm like, how dumb? There's no way you don't know what a bank is. Like, I know you don't have money anymore, but like,
there's still the Bank of Boleus.
Like, I know what a sword is, and we don't commonly use them now, right? So I don't know. It's just strange to me of a joke to throw in here. A bonk, yeah, but anyway.
Yes, hello. I'd like to withdraw some paper with no intrinsic value. Money.
Money. But then we find out what kind of a program this is. It's basically a Bonnie and Clyde crime program with Tiana and Shax, and I was just like, oh yes, right. Like, let's get this going here. Where's my? I got Shax here.
Everybody down! This is a robbery!
Hands up where I can see them!
Hands up where I can see him. This is,
I didn't wake up today planning on blowing anyone's brains out, but don't push me.
God, I'm still smiling. I love this scene so much.
yeah, and they got everything going on here,
It's the feds!
The feds are here,
Eat hot
like they're not, neither of them are even human. And they're living out this like human like historical fantasy.
They found out about Bonnie and Clyde and thought they were awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
and then they turn off the safety protocols, right? She's like, disengage the safety protocols, and then like Boimler almost gets shot in the head here.
It's a really good screen grab where the bullet's like glowing hot.
Yeah. And Shax's had to Shax's like, no, come on, we need to talk about this,
The guy died.
What the hell? I was about to blast him.
What are we doing?
The usual. We off these feds, and once our blood's pumping, we'll do the nasty on the counter and make the hostages watch.
What?
Oh my god.
It's so good. It's so good.
Tana's crazy. Or who we find out what her name is, Diane.
Diane, like put those away.
Diane is her kinky sex name?
Diane to Anna.
Sex name.
Oh my god.
Yeah, where's my Shax saying put this away?
Will you put those away, Diane?
I love how like all the aliens in the show just have basic names like Jennifer and Diane.
They try to come up with other names here. Anyway, so they're going back, and they're here. Well, yeah. Before she puts it on here, he's like, "You don't even listen to things about things."
When was the last time you asked me about my dreams or how my mission went? I died, and we never even talked about it.
Does a baby need to suckle on one of
Will you
Mama's?
Oh my
put those
God.
away, Diane?
Put this away, Diane. This baby need to suckle on one of my oh my god. Tana's a freak.
Yeah, they both
So
are.
the
clearly.
question, here's the real question. Here's the real question. Does Taana only have 2 boobs or like?
No, she's a
8
cat.
boobs?
She probably has like 6 or
6
8 or whatever. 6, yeah.
Probably 6.
No!
No, wait, that's not it. I need my naked time. I
You need your naked time.
I need my naked time.
My
I think
naked now.
It's naked time.
It's naked time!
Yeah.
It's naked time.
Anyway, so they crawl into like this whatever it is, the service junction, but it's getting weirder and weirder here as they're going.
I've never told anyone how I lost my tail.
Oh, yes.
Can we set the mood?
Computer, resume program.
I was on the Algonquin! Oh, man.
I was on the
Yeah.
Algonquin.
Yeah, but Tandy gets dragged away here before she can hear the rest of the story. So anyway, back to the Dove and the engineering crew. Oh, no, I guess we're not here. No, we're still with the Boimler and Mariner and Tandy. Oh yeah, they end up down in the
Algonquin.
The swamp section or whatever, like the arboretums, like lower swamp levels. That I didn't know the ship had this.
You gotta have your roots somewhere.
You got to have it somewhere, that's for sure.
What kind of weirdo signs up for a job in outer space just to garden?
Yeah, well, this guy. We get a Kayshawn thing with some more Temerian.
The path to Kamata in spring.
The path to Kamata in spring, and then he goes, "Oh no, his mistress."
Oh, Gramble, his throat slit by his mistress.
What was that metaphor, guys? Gramble, his throat slashed by his mistress.
Slit by his mistress. Yeah.
I don't know how that.
Surprise. It was a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is where Kayshawn is. But anyway, they're down here in the section, and they're like, "Oh, this plant doesn't need water, but it needs lots of nitrous oxide," which she says, that's
High levels of nitrous oxide.
Is it safe for us to be breathing that?
Oh, well, I know Orions are immune to its hallucinogenic properties, but as humans...
I died at this scene. I never stopped laughing for a hard second. I was dying at this scene. It was so good.
It
Oh my
goes
god.
Yeah, it's pretty. I have 2 more clips.
Boimler, what is up with your head? You look like a goddamn sea creature.
Goddamn
My head. What about your arms?
Right, and then he's like, "Oh,
Hey guys, this is actually so funny. Look at this. It says oxygen levels are depleting.
I can taste sounds. What?
Wow, it's amazing.
this is amazing."
It sounds.
It takes sounds.
What? Oh my god!
It's so good, man.
Okay, you gotta stay here and feed the rabbits. I'm gonna find a way through this maze.
You gotta stay here and feed the rabbits. I'm gonna find a way through
this maze. Yeah,
My concern about the lack of plot is disappearing this episode. Is
Oh my
great.
god.
There's some good jokes.
that's-
Who needs a plot? Anyway, so like Mariner thinks she's in her egg or something here, and she's gonna get dragged off here.
Please tell me you got this audio clip. I fucking died.
Oh, where she was like, "No, I didn't." But she was like, "Sorry for pulling you out of the egg," and she was like, "It was so warm and nice."
She's like, "It's okay. It was so warm and nice." Like she was like, "It's okay. It was so warm and nice."
She was she was like cry face at one point.
She completely just like recesses back into the moment.
Yeah. Maybe it was not that bad of a trip after all.
Oh my god, it was so good.
It was a great segment. Just that alone. We got Freeman back here on the Dove, coming in on the engineers as they come into like this Japanese rock garden or whatever it is. But we find out that that they're supposed to be relaxing, but
Feeling your stress slide away into the sand?
Oh, yeah. We're really cooking.
Oh, nice. Wait a minute. Is that a design schematic?
Yep, this little honey will improve the Cerritos engine efficiency by 0.5%.
No. You are here to relax. Like,
yeah, and then like this one who's getting the massage over here, but is actually doing
building
more engineering work, build time, And this Endorian, he had something too, but I didn't get that screenshot. But Freeman's just annoyed that these engineers are workaholics.
She's like, "How's it going, cadet?" She says, "Like, great. It's almost ready to test."
Jeremy Caulfield had made a comment. He says, "Corpse in the vines." Apparently, there was a corpse in the vines. I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that either.
Let's go back.
Where's a corpse?
Corpse. Could have been the hallucination.
Oh, it's probably the shot actually when they first drop down.
When they
And
first
it's
come
like
in?
that big shot of the trees. Yeah, there.
Oh no, there is.
Oh, there is. Good catch,
Who is
Jeremy.
that?
Oh, it's like that that Doopler.
Oh, it is a Doopler. Oh my god.
Oh
Good
shit!
catch, Jeremy. Welcome
Good-
back.
Well
bud.
done, Jeremy.
Good catch. Yeah.
Oh my god.
An embarrassment of Dooplers.
Yeah, one of them just got stuck there. That's pretty hilarious though, because they were they just got stuck there.
All right, so where were we? These
God.
engineers are
The
going.
show's dark.
Oh yeah, for sure it is. Anyway, they Boimler's going for it here. They end up in like the deflector dish, I guess, is where they are, with no gravity. And this is we played it once, but why not?
I'm not Boimler. I'm Anti-Grav Boy, protector of the lower decks. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Protector.
Oh, he just like has his hands on his hips.
Yeah, but then we see some asteroids coming at them. It's a
Commander, small asteroid cluster is approaching. Should I target with all phasers?
no. You shouldn't.
Using phasers.
Should I use that? He always just wants to use the phasers. He's a great callback to Worf.
Yeah.
Always just wanted to blow stuff up. But right now the deflector activating would be bad for them. It would be better if they used the phasers, at least for this crew. Because
now it turns into the biggest gravitron ever.
Yeah, basically. And they're all like just trying to get away. It gets pretty hairy here. Where the Kendi and Mariner are able to get into the hatch here, but then they like make like they use their uniforms. They go down to their underwear here, and they get Boimler back. You know, they could have just used their comm badges to call for emergency help, but no.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of bondage and hair pulling in this scene.
There is. They're not holding back there. They're getting down to their skivvies and everything else. Starfleet issue underwear.
Yeah. This is for the real nerds.
Yeah. Anyway, and then they go, ha ha ha, anti-grav boy. Anti-grav Dav, I think they're actually laughing at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm back on the Dove. They're getting their mani-pedis, I guess. You know, which, you know, is part of the you can't.
Come on, you can't have a petty without a manny.
It's like a petty for your hand toes.
It's like a petty for your hand toes, guys.
Yeah.
See, when he was like first like refusing, I was like, oh, I guess he's got a thing about his hands. Maybe he's just like super like doesn't want anyone touching his hands because he's an engineer or something.
No, it's because he's hacked the bracelets by putting cucumbers behind them or something like that, you know. And we find out that they've all done it because, yeah, initially they're like, no, this is good because the cucumbers keep their eyes covered and then they can't use their hands, so they can't keep working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hardest working people in Starfleet, these engineers. So, you know, and then where's my Geordie LaForge Freeman rant here?
My engineers don't respect me.
That's not true.
No, engineers, all of them are all goddamn Geordie LaForges.
Goddamn Geordie
LaForges. Fuck, I laughed hard at that joke. So many good jokes in this episode, dude.
Freeman's like the veins start coming out of her head here, you know, and she's getting all stressed out. It goes black, and that means like that's like an emergency or something here. They got to get like the whole crew involved. But, you know, and Freeman's got it off in her, and they're like, you got to help her. We've taken this too far. It's basically the Adosian blames Billups and the crew here. And they need to figure out how are they going to engineer their way out of this problem? Anyway, he's I think I know what we need to stop doing. It's basically everything they were doing. Anyway, back with Boimler down here, and they get into this section, which is going to take them to the computer core that they're trying to get to. They sit down here for a minute. Oh yeah, because they're talking about like what they're going to do when they get the new doorbell. When you
get your room, what are you going to say to let people in?
Yeah, Riker says come, but like, come. So I guess I'll do that? Do I sound cool? Come.
I wish I could make fun, but it does sound cool.
I was thinking inter-friend, so then whoever comes in is your friend.
I'm gonna say come too.
No, don't do that. That's mine.
I like it.
Come.
Inter-friend?
Anyway, but this is when Delta Shift shows up, you know.
Oh, Delta Shift's the worst.
I know. Yeah, and they have this little thing. They've had their own little adventure, clearly trying to get to wherever they're going. They're doing the exact same thing. But you know, they're kind of like, you know, trading insults, and then eventually they start trading stories and come up, you know, and start exchanging some ideas. Oh, I'm here.
Good evening, gentlemen. I haven't seen it yet because I don't screen anything, so I will see it. I know. See it at 9 p.m. on CTV, Sci-Fi Channel. So I will rewatch it then. Watch your review. Time is not on our side. Well, Thomas, we'll see you in the VOD, sir.
Yeah, sorry, Thomas.
Coming back.
I would love to, you know, adhere to CTV Sci-Fi Channel's 9 p.m. screening, but we got lives. So we do download it from the Americans and then get it.
We're ahead of the game here.
You know, I think that like Crave should also just have it out the same day. But you know,
I mean, Crave has it out the same day. Crave has it out like first thing in the morning.
No, does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I watch it.
Then I totally watch this on Crave.
Yes, we all watch this on Crave.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so they're all getting along. They tell this story about Ransom and how he's got something about churros. Would you guys remember what exactly the details of all this were? It wasn't that good of a gag. Anyway,
I think it's one of those like side plots that they just sort of talk about in like casual conversation. Seem to have a lot of those in the show, I find.
Right, but they're getting along, saying we're not so different. You know, the only difference is like you're awake when we're asleep, and vice versa. All right, but then the The door opens
Then
up
betrayal.
here. And these Delta ships, they are not with honor, Davan. They are
just as dirty as they look.
There should be 3 ships, and that's it. Getting out of Starfleet here, Delta ship.
They're Jellicos.
No,
you know?
no, come on now. He's great. Jellicoe's a great captain. I mean, his preference for 4 ships. That's
Ronnie Cox. Yeah,
Freeman too, though. Freeman too. Two fine captains.
Fine captains. So you're saying Picard's not a good captain?
Well, how many ships does Cisco prefer? That's what
I don't know. We never really see that that dynamic play out.
And even Janeway. Do we know how many ships she prefers?
Well, it's really about the first officer. Usually, that's the first officer's discretion. So I think that's
Jellicoe.
And that's what Riker didn't like. He's like, that's normally like the first officer's call, and the captain was micromanaging him, and he didn't like that. So, anyway, so over to Freeman, who cannot even be consoled by a puppy. I think they say something like
that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they're like, we even threw a couple like other ones in here.
Bunnies.
We
threw some bunnies in there. None of it's working.
Nothing's working. This is bad. The coaches.
she. At first, I was like, is she lighting a vape on fire?
Yeah, she's vaping.
It's like, I think it's a cigarette or something.
No, that's vaping. Oh, that's it's a lighter though.
So she is the light.
Yeah,
it looks like a vape, but it's like she's lighting it on fire. She's not stressed.
You never used to see any smoking in Star Trek, and in the modern era, there's a little bit more smoking involved.
Smoking, F-bombs, sex with aliens was always there.
Yeah, 6 boobs.
6 boobs.
All kinds of
6
things.
boobs would have always been there.
Bondage and submission. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, and their solution here was to invent a machine that takes away all your stress.
Okay, here's my next little, perhaps deep cut. Is this a reference to Elias Geiger and his cellular regeneration in
I hope so.
Chamber?
I hope so. Like the
cellular regeneration and entertainment chamber.
Yeah. One of the best guest characters ever.
But only worthy of if you're not a soulless minion of orthodoxy.
Yeah.
Since you are not in fact working for the soulless minions of orthodoxy,
you can have a run here. It might be like, I don't know what this was trying to reference other than that. I think that's just good of his theories ever. Look at our wristbands. We're good. Why don't you take a run in here? And she says, what the hell? And she does it.
Isolation hug tank 5000.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out if this was supposed to be a placebo effect or if it was actually a real machine.
I think it legitimately did something. I don't think it was just like a placebo effect. I think it just like gave her like 5,000 orgasms in 30 seconds.
Might be.
Come.
Yeah.
Come.
Anyway, so she's feeling better. They're like, this thing's the best thing ever. But they realize that this machine could like put them out of business or something. And they're like, destroy it immediately. Anyway, so they're trapped still in this tube or whatever it is on the Cerritos. And they notice this water is draining here from when the ship had been turned into like a temple or whatever. So they start following the water along. And where does it take them? I don't remember.
Bold move.
Oh yeah, and they're like, yeah, Boimler's got to be bold.
We really need to do something about this bold Boimler thing. It is not sustainable.
Not sustainable, Anyway, they're coming along here. He's like, just this way. And they get, this is it. They get to the computer core. They're doing their thing. And is it that the Delta ship has already done it? Is that what?
No, Delta ship isn't there yet. They beat the chase. They just decided to be like, oh no, if Delta ship does it, or no, they figured out that it's not 4 rooms on level 1, it's 1 room.
1 room on level 4.
So they were like, oh shit, if we can't do this, we'll be broken up if we do this. Not one of them even putting into the consideration that they could all just share the damn room, but they're all like, oh no, we can't do this. Let's stay together by not entering this contest. Yeah, let's stay together, and they leave, and then Delta just gets the damn room.
Delta gets the room, and they just share. They're like, "Well, just put 4 beds in there. It's so spacious."
Yeah.
It was like, and they were just like, they didn't think of it. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Why didn't we think of that? We were caught up in the moment.
Yeah, we're caught up in the moment. What was this to do? Anyway,
Rutherford
comes back. He's like, "You had one job." Well, I was gone. I fixed everything on that other ship while I was there too. Rutherford's, of course I would have liked that. Anyway, they're smoothing things
We
over.
got caught up in the wood. All for one, one for all. That's the entire.
That's
we
the
could have
whole
been all for
thing.
one in one room.
Yeah. And then there's this gag here at the end where Rantham shows up and gets his churros so he can do whatever.
The episode ends with a steaming bag of churros.
And we see those same
An
ships
unmarked
just
bag.
in a different configuration, and that's the episode, guys. We already found out some fun facts. We know that there was a Doppler in that swamp section.
Thanks,
Jeremy. Thanks
for
that,
Jeremy. Thanks for an eagle-eyed fan pointing that one out for us.
Yeah,
gotta get more of those.
I'm just seeing if there's any other fun facts from this episode. We already said John Cochran wrote this episode, which is always fun for me, at least. Any other trivia or things you guys want to do? We can probably jump right into the ratings.
I can't say I can think of any trivia or anything.
2 additional background characters.
Here's a fun fact. No, I'll talk about that later.
Okay, we got 2 fun facts. So 2 characters introduced in Lower Decks Season 1 are given names for the first time in this episode. Fedorov and Moxie.
Oh, yeah, Fedorov.
Taz is the 3rd Adosian to appear in Star Trek after Eric's on Star Trek The Animated Series and the Division 14 medical specialist from Lower Decks episode Much Ado About Boimler. And then the opening scene where
Tion's name was Diane.
And we find out that her sex name is Diane. And then the opening scene where Captain Freeman is possessed by a mask and turns parts of the Cerritos into an ancient temple is a reference to the Next Generation episode Masks. Yeah, which we already know. I think that's it in terms of the fun facts, guys. Asif Ali. I think I know that. Who is it? Anyway, it's one of the things. Jeff Mater. Fun facts is a copyright from Jeff from the backyard. Please switch to details discovered. Make it so. Yeah, Jeff did. Well, I thought double F with Jeff was more your specific version or brand, Jeff. Yeah, but all right.
I mean, I think Jeff Jarrett might have copyright that one. JEFF.
JEFF. Be with my baby tonight, if you will. Anyway, so guys, let's get into the ratings for this episode. Oh man, I don't have my ratings sheet open. Sorry, guys.
What is this?
I know it's kind of this is disorganized, if anything.
What kind of dog and pony show is this?
I know it's one dog, one pony. All right, room for growth, guys. Let's rate this episode. So I'll go give it a 7.5. I thought it was fine. Murphy, you're next.
I will give it a 10. I'm legitimately giving this one a 10. I haven't laughed as hard in any Lower Decks episode as hard as I laughed at this episode. I know there wasn't much plot-wise, but entertainment-wise, it was solid. And for me, I got to give it a 10. Unless there's an episode in the future.
I feel like I'm a bit low.
Might
I feel like
readjust.
I'm going to go up to 8. Okay. Davin? You didn't come in super enthusiastic here.
No, I didn't. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
7.5. Okay. So we averaged tonight at an 8.5 between the three of us. This had a 7.5 on IMDb as of this morning.
Nailed it.
I don't know. You did. I don't know if it's changed. It's up to an 8, guys. It's up to an 8 out of 10 with 32 votes so far. So that's something. It's just not working.
I am excretus of Borg.
You. So would you say that this is like a Freeman storyline, or maybe even Rutherford?
Not Rutherford.
I would say it's a Freeman storyline. Yeah.
And then kind of a B plot with Mariner and
the crew.
The gang. The beta shift.
The Lower Decks.
Yeah. Lower Decks ensemble, I guess, is kind of the other thing. All right. So I don't think we have the name of next week's episode yet. I've not seen anything come out. Not that we would
name it ourselves.
It will be called The Best Episode Ever.
Oh, wow. Can't wait to see that one.
It will be called episode 25 of the show. It's weird that they have announced the name of episode 8, although, which is called Crisis Point 2 Paradoxus. Anyway, so that's it for the ratings. Sam's giving this a 4. Wow.
Man, that's harsh. That's harsh, Sam. What's your fun fact, though?
Yeah, he's got a fun fact.
Bring it on, Sam.
This episode was written by Survivor winner John Cochran. You don't say.
We did say
You
that.
don't say.
Are you paying attention, Sam?
I think he just got here.
No, he didn't.
He got here and left and came back.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like I actually thought this is of the 3 episodes that John Cochran has written so far. One being this one, the other being the one with Badgie, and the other being the Spy Humongous, which was his second season episode. Which was an episode that featured Boimler and Tendi more specifically. I think that's when like the pack lead was there. Like, Rumdar is a spy. You know that was.
We tricked you, Janeway.
We tricked you, Janeway. Yeah, like that was Cochran's other episode. So he changed it to a 7. He's going up to a 7. He went from a 4 to a 7 in under 3 minutes. So that's pretty.
He thought about it.
Peer pressure.
Search just soul.
Yeah.
No, that was soul searching.
Yeah, he was reevaluating. He's like, you're right. This is a better episode than they say, than I think it is. Maybe. Okay, guys. So that's it for Lower Decks, season 3, episode 4, Room for Growth. We can wrap up for here tonight.
Bring up my sweet little Cuters of Trek logo. I got a segue to get to here.
Oh, okay. Where do I have that?
Yeah. See the Cuters of Trek and our new home here at Live Long and Podcast. We're launching a new show tomorrow, the Treckle Trunk, where I'll dig into my little my wall of many toys back here on occasion, but we're also going to review comic books. This is what we're doing tomorrow with the release of Star Trek number 400, which is an anthology. Kind of touches on most of the shows in 6 stories, so 6 of the shows anyway, so that's pretty cool. And also, Lower Decks number 1. There's their segue. Lower Decks number 1. Lower Decks comic. The comics are amazing. It's written by one of my favorite comic writers, Ryan North, who writes. Where do I have it? I'll get that later. Oh, here we go. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
Oh, the one who killed Thanos in the comics.
No, she didn't kill him. She can beat him.
Or she got
she's never been beaten. Never lost a round.
Never lost anything.
No, so it's written. It's like Lower Decks mixed with the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, because it has a lot of the sub.
Sam wants to know: will it be live on this channel tomorrow? Will you be live?
Yes, it will be at 2 noon your time. No, wait, you're in Newfoundland, aren't you?
Be determined.
Freaking 1:30 your time, bud.
1:30 Newfoundland time.
Yeah, 1:30 Newfoundland time.
Yeah, we'll go half hour. We're not going full hour.
In Newfoundland, it's always on the half hour.
Yeah, it's the only time zone I've ever heard that goes half an hour. Anyway, so
so looking forward to the Treckle Trunk.
And then
the heroic and legendary mission.
Yeah, welcome to Live Long and Podcast, Davan. And we're very excited to have all your different shows. I was populating the playlist, trying to get everything set up. I think I set up 10 playlists today, so we'll be adding to those. And the Treckle Trunk is the first one you're officially doing on the Live Long and Podcast. So excited for that. Keep it going, and of course always glad to have you here on these reviews and our other things, including, guys, on Saturday we have our next edition of Star Trek Radio Theater, which is going to be a fun one. It's our first time we're ever doing a musical, really, with Davan going to be the hippie Adam in The Way to Eden. That's the Star Trek original series episode we're doing. We got Chris Murphy here. He's going to be playing Spock. I'll be playing Sulu and one of those other space hippies, and Nurse Chapel and a couple others. Yeah. Have you been learning these songs, Davan?
Nah, we'll do it like an hour beforehand. Me and Dave are good at that.
There's like 5 distinct songs you have to learn.
Oh yeah, but the thing about Plain Simple Tailors is we do everything best the first time with little preparation.
Okay, you know.
Looking for the good land,
going astray.
Don't worry, I'll bring a tear to your eye. Be ready, everybody.
All right, we're getting ready. Of course, Dave Pugsley's going to be playing your hippie girl backup singer as well. We got a great cast for this one. Check it out. We're doing it live Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And that will be and then we'll have like an edited version that will come out later on. Monday nights, we have Star Trek Enterprise rewatches. Tuesday nights, Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatches and reviews. So in Enterprise, we're up to season 2, and Deep Space Nine, we're up to season 6 now, going through episode by episode and reviewing them. And we have a great back catalog: Star Trek, the original series, the Star Trek movies, all these other things, plus all the stuff that Davin's bringing over from Locutors of Trek. So much content here on Live Long and Podcast for you to get into. We also have another great network of podcasts, affiliate podcasts, including Trivial Debates coming up this Sunday. It's another channel we have where we do, there's a host, there's 3 contestants, there's different rounds, a movie round, a TV round, music round, etc. Davan hosting this next one on Sunday, September 18th at 10:30 a.m. with Chris Seymour, my son, Eamon Mader, also known as Sam Jerka from the Let's Talk About Fighting Games podcast, and Tom Mott Tyrell competing. It's going to be a fun one, guys. I think you really should tune in for this one.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
it's going to be all over the scales.
It's going to be great. We got the Super Mader Brothers podcasting channel as well, where we're often doing reality TV. Right now, Survivor 43 starts next Wednesday. And we're also wrapping up Big Brother 24. We'll be on tonight from the next eviction. We're into week 10, I think. Dave, I know. I need a mandatory vacation where I'm going to and I'll probably start trying to fix things. I think I would be in the engineering division if I was.
Sweet work. Let's do some more podcasts, guys.
Let's do some more podcasts and create a radio theater and all these other things. Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely need a vacation from 3 times a week with Big Brother. So I just need to get through 2 more weeks and then we're going to be good. But that's coming up. That's starting in half an hour. So I got to wrap up here. But mentioned Let's Talk About Fighting Games, the Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn, and X-Rated, Davin's X-Men podcast. You gotta check that out every Tuesday with Andre.
And Andre's Graphic Histories podcast as well.
And the Graphic Histories podcast, which I don't have a graphic for, ironically enough.
I'll send you one.
Yeah, well, you can, just load. We need to load them all up in here into the system. Anyway,
I can do it.
Working out the kinks.
I think that's all the plugs and all the things you need to check out here. And thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening to our review of Room for Growth.
But on X-Rated this coming week, we're having Marvel Comics artist David Cutler join us again. So everybody should tune into that because he's better at our show than me and Andre. So it's always a good show when Dave joins us.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for being with us. Live long and podcast. Thanks to Davan and Chris, and Jaemeel was with us too, if you didn't know. All right. See you next time.
Computer pause program.
What the hell? I was about to blast them.
What are we doing?
The usual. We off these feds, and once our blood's pumping, we'll do the nasty on the